Good morning, my billionaire friends. I hope you're comfortable. Welcome back to my channel, Pips on Profit. We're going to be running you through the weekly outlook. We're going to be checking some currencies like the base currencies for the dollars, right? So we're going to be checking out the dollar index. We're going to be checking my favorite pair, GBPUSD, and we're going to be, if we have time, we're going to check some other currencies, okay? All right. So if you want any other currencies to be analyzed on this channel, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section and we'll do well to analyze that currency come next weekend. All right, so we're going to be going right away to the chart. So we're looking at the dollar index. This is the monthly. Like you know, we start our top-down analysis from the monthly. There's nothing so much we expect from the monthly. We already confirmed from the previous weeks that the monthly is clearly bullish. It's only in the retracement, and it has retraced beyond the 50% level, the 50 equilibrium level, and has retraced into a discount level. So we're looking for a strong fundamental or some strong incentives for the dollar to continue buying. Okay, so we're going to be leaving it at that. We're waiting until we see a strong incentive for the dollar to continue buying, because the lower time frames, the weekly and the daily, they are strongly bullish, they are strongly bearish. So we're looking at we're going to be waiting on them to become bullish again before we confirm that all are aligning with the monthly structure. Okay, so we're going to be leaving the monthly at that. Now over to the weekly. The weekly remains bearish. Now if you remember the markup we were able to do last weekend, you see how price played out clearly. Okay, we expected that price was going to trade into this shaded rectangle here, okay, citing a mitigation block around here. All right, so the mitigation block around here has sent price further downward. So we expected price to trade into this mitigation block somewhere between 61.8 level and 78.6 level, and price did just that. Okay, so upon seeing price get into that level, we saw how price collapsed. That is to show you how powerful this analysis we've been doing is. Okay, so you can use this analysis for your own good, and always remember to do your own research. Okay, so we see how price is rejected off 78.6 level. So going into next week, we're looking for a further collapse of the dollar. Okay, we're looking for the further collapse of the dollar. Now you can see the inverted hammer price action kind of candlestick that was formed here. Okay, right, I think it's inverted hammer that it's been called. Yes, that's what it's called, inverted hammer. Look at how price rejected off this level on the weekly. So going into next week, what I expect to see is price coming all the way down from this level, coming all the way down here from this level, going into next week, and then after taking out liquidity on the downside, maybe a little retracement, and then continuing downwards. Okay, so going into next week, this is what I expect of the dollar. But for this week, this current week that we just finished, this current trading week, price has done what we expected. Okay, now for the daily, onto the daily time frame, okay, now looking at the daily time frame, you can also see how price has traded into this fair value gap cited right here, and then the fair value gap coincides with the 78.6 level. Okay, now after rejecting off this level, we're seeing how price is falling further down. You can see something similar to what we saw on the weekly. We saw an inverted hammer right about here, coinciding with 78.6 level, and a fair value gap on the left hand swing. Okay, so this is more like a confluence for this hammer. Okay, so for Friday, I was shorting the dollar. I was long GBPUSD for the most of Friday. When we get to GBPUSD, I'm going to show you the position I took on Friday. Okay, so this coincidence is what we like to see. We like to see many confluences in the market that supports our market perspective, so that we'll be quite confident on taking trades in a particular direction. Okay, so this is what we saw, and I was long GBPUSD on Friday. That was yesterday. Okay, so going forward, I expect to see GBPUSD trade all the way down to this other block right here, right, straight down to this other block right here, and give us kind of a retracement a little above, and then continue falling further downward. So I want to see something like this going into next week, a retracement above, and then it continues falling downwards. Okay, so this is what I expect to see next week on GBPUSD. Alright, so I'll leave this here. You can take a screenshot of this. So when we come back next weekend, we're going to see how our analysis played out. Alright, so that's for the daily time frame. It's still bearish. I expect it to trade all the way to these levels and then give us some decent profits. It's all about pips and profits, right? So finally, we're going to be checking the 4 hourly time frame for the dollar. Looking at the 4 hourly time frame, we're seeing clear break of structure. Some people may say not so clear, but then it's clear. If you switch down to the 1 hour time frame, you see how clear it is. Okay, so we're seeing structure to the downside for the 4 hourly candle. We're seeing strong momentum to the downside. Look at the size of the candles, the size of the sell candles from Wednesday. After Wednesday, look at the size of the sell candles compared to the buy candles. You can see that the sell momentum for the dollar is here. Okay, so like we projected last week, like we projected this week, and going into next week, we're looking at the collapse for the dollar. Once again, no offense to anyone watching from the US, we mean you no harm. All right, no offense intended. We just want to take trades and make profit out of the financial market. All right, regardless of where the market is going, we just want to make profits. Okay, so that will be all for the dollar index. Now we're going to be moving to GBPUSD. All right, now looking at GBPUSD on the monthly time frame, like we just said on the dollar, it's still strongly bearish on GBPUSD. It's the inverse of the dollar. Whatever the dollar is doing, we expect the GBPUSD to do the opposite. Okay, so on GBPUSD, it's still bearish. We still have one of our POIs, one of our points of interest on the higher time frame. Okay, we're looking at this fair value gap on the monthly. We're looking at this fair value gap right here. Yeah, so we're looking at price trading into it. Price faked a little above it, but this could be an inducement. Right, the whole of this high could be an inducement to further trade above and take liquidity residing above here. Okay, so that's for the monthly. GBPUSD remains bearish on the monthly. However, as day traders, we pay more attention to the daily and the weekly. When they align with the monthly, it gives us more signals or stronger confidence to approach the market. But when they are doing the opposite, we try as much as we can to catch the little that we can out of the market. Okay, so that's for the weekly. That's for the monthly. So for the weekly still remains bullish. Okay, you can see the last set of bullish structure still remains respected across board. Okay, so this is it. Alright, so these two horizontal lines, these two black horizontal lines are the last bullish structures that were formed. Price still respects them, price hasn't violated them. So GBPUSD on the weekly remains bullish. Remember the monthly fair value gap, and also look at this here. Price hasn't traded into this yet. Okay, alright, so this is the candle imbalance or volume imbalance as you may call it. Right, volume imbalance or candle imbalance, both are saying the same thing. Right, so the close of this candle does not align with the open of this other candle here, so that gives us a volume imbalance. We want to see price on the weekly trade into these two levels. Okay, so this is where we're looking out for GBPUSD buys. Okay, so we're going to be taking long positions on GBPUSD going into next week unless we see otherwise. Alright, so that is for the weekly. For the daily on GBPUSD, the daily kind of give us a mini structure, but the major structure is still from here to here, where my Fibonacci 2 is. Right, from the 100 to the 0 level. This is the main structure for GBPUSD. Until price violates any of the two. Alright, if price violates this to the downside before we can confirm that we are now bearish on GBPUSD. Alright, so still remaining on that, you can see how price traded into this other block, and we expect it to trade further away from it going into next week. Okay, alright, so that's for the GBPUSD. We are seeing that price has traded and done enough retracement has covered from the 38, 50, 61 and 78 levels. We expect it to now go back upwards. Okay, so that is for GBP USD. All right, so going into next week, now look at this, guys. Look at this price action. Look at this candlestick formation right here. Okay, a strong expansion to the downside, another expansion to the downside, and immediate rejection. That is on Thursday. All right, then giving us a doji candle, and then you can see how that this candle that is looking like an inverted hammer went above here. Okay, all right, let me take this ad off. Maybe one of these days this video is going to be sponsored by a very big company, but until then we're not advertising for anyone yet. All right, so until we get an approach, just one day we're going to be advertising for big companies who sponsor these videos. All right, back to the chart and away from Mauritius. We see how that this candle, this particular inverted hammer, traded above the open of this candle. This is a sign. All right, I'm not going to go into further details, but this is a strong sign that GBPUSD is going to resume its bullishness going into next week. So going into next week, this is the path I want to see GBPUSD follow. I want to trade into this fair value gap. Trade a little below, alright, retrace a little below, and then continue upwards. This is what I expect of GBPUSD going into next week. Okay, something like this. You can take screenshots of this so that when we come next week, we're going to see how GBPUSD plays out. So let me take this away to give us a little more clarity. Now, also looking into this direction, there is another block here which price hasn't traded into, so I still expect GBPUSD to trade into this other block residing above this levels here. Alright, so I expect GBPUSD to trade into this other block, give us some level of retracement, and then continue in this direction. Going into next week, GBPUSD is going to be taking long positions until I see something that's going to tell me otherwise. Okay, so on the 4-hourly time frame, you can also see how clearly bullish GBPUSD is becoming. Now look at something similar to the structure we saw on the daily. Right, you see the strong expansion to the downside, another expansion, and an immediate rejection. Now what did we see? Boom, to the upside. Okay, these patterns just repeat themselves always in the market. They repeat themselves always in the market, so we expect a push to the upside. Look at something similar to that here. Okay, not so strong, but a weak expansion to the upside, rejection immediately, and boom to the downside. Okay, so these things happen many times in the market. Look at another one here, an expansion to the downside, rejection, boom. Alright, these things happen at key areas. They don't happen all the time. Okay, so you need to be sure they're in alignment with the market direction. Okay, so if they're not aligning to the market direction, then it's better you stay out. Look at another one here, an expansion to the upside, another fake expansion, rejection, and boom. Look at how many times it happened here. So you can even get confused if you don't know the direction of the market. Look at another one here, expansion to the downside, but price is bullish. So another expansion, rejection, and boom. Okay, so you need to see it in direction of the market. When it's moving in the direction of the market, then you can take advantage of it. But if you don't know the direction of the market, then it's better you just stay out, because there's not going to be you're not going to be very certain of where the market is going to. Okay, so for GBPUSD on the hourly time frame, look at how price has traded into this fair value gap residing right here. Let me align it. Yeah, price has traded into this. So going into Monday next week, we expect to see GBPUSD expand from this very place. Okay, so this is the expansion that we expect to see on GBPUSD going into next week. Okay, right, so that's going to be all for so that's going to be all for GBPUSD. If you have any other currency you want us to analyze this way, please do well to inform me in the comment section, or send me a mail, and I'll analyze that currency in similar fashion. Okay, Okay, so once again, going into next week, we're going to be taking long positions on GBPUSD. So we'll see you again. I wish you good luck and good trading. And I pray that the pips is going to be in our favor. Cheers and God bless, guys.